With a G.
Could you try guess his first name?
He looks like a Gavin.
Nah. No.
Don't say anything you might regret.
Everything's live now.
Yeah,
okay,
man,
okay, let's get this shit then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good, all good.
Welcome, passengers. Welcome back to another episode of the Mediocre and All podcast. You're in the building with myself, Gia.
Gooder with a G.
Yes, sir. And today we got the one and only G Money.
Thank you. You know what? Like, so I have to ask this, right?
Yeah.
I was watching the pod this morning before I came in.
Okay.
I had to see what kind of craziness I was walking into. Yeah. And you say Gooder with the G.
Yeah, Gooder with a G.
So I'm trying to wonder what else could Gooder start with.
No.
Yo, let me tell you, this is the most random guy on the podcast. He might come here, he's like, Gooder with the drinks. What the
Okay.
He literally does everything.
But the real story behind it is every time I tell someone I'm Gooder,
Right.
normally they say Buddha.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm always like,
I get it.
Gooder with a G.
Could you try guess his first name?
He looks like a Gavin.
Nah.
No? Okay.
Gavin with a G.
G, let me see. G must be
It's not even related to the G. That G is just for Gooder.
oh,
Yeah.
so
Purely
Oh,
Gooder.
that's my surname.
Yeah.
that's your surname. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I could never guess your name then.
Brian.
Oh, you're Brio. Brio.
For sure.
Brio.
Okay, there you go.
Tessa.
The heartbreaker.
You said it.
There you go.
Yeah, the player.
Yeah. I know how the reputations that Brian's have. I mean, I'm Anto, so I know that story. How's it going?
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you for the opportunity, first of all.
The pleasure is ours, man. We've been planning this for a second now.
I lost my voice. That first day there, so I had to make it today, and I'm always happy to jump onto pods because I think it's really good for the culture that we all work with each other and do things together, because the more we do together, the more the scene grows. So I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah,
And I'm a talker. Don't let me take over. Let me sit.
No worries, man.
Shout out to Trio Media as well. Nice little space here as well. I really love what you guys are doing here.
Looking super nice, man.
They've even got soundproofing, man. Us guys, we just annoy the neighbors.
For real?
Oh, we do. Grouchy and everybody, we annoy the neighbors. Not really.
They haven't filed a complaint or something.
No, funnily enough, where we film is where I used to live.
Okay.
And because I've lived there for so long, I'm like the area boss.
The OG.
The OG.
Come
so
on now.
They can't complain, man. So, it's all too good. We try and keep it down.
Wow. Hey, but let me tell you now that you're here. Let us just give you your flowers just when we're with you. I think like you don't know how much influence you've had over so many podcasts that have started, because all of us were looking up to the mics are open. Actually, I didn't know nothing about podcasting. By the time I was telling Gooder we should start a podcast, he also had the same idea. But now he was listening to your pod that time. I didn't even know about you guys. Okay. I was like, yeah, you should check the mics are open. And I was like, oh.
Yeah,
this nigga's actually doing numbers, you know.
I mean, it's been interesting because for us guys, or for the mics, and I say, I when people always say to me, your pod, I'm like, no, it's our pod. So our pod, the mics are open, myself, Calvin, Andy, Ashley, Neville, and whoever else is in the room at the time. When we started it, it's very interesting that Homeboys Radio was going through a mega transition. We were moving to Radio Africa.
Okay.
And we sat in the studio one day, myself, Calvin, and Andy, because we used to work together. And we're like, yo, looks like things are going to change, bro. We need to like go out and do our own thing, you know, so that we could like all the stuff that we couldn't talk about on air. Let's create a podcast, and then we can just talk about everything.
I remember you advertising it on the radio before you had started.
Yeah,
I was also listening to it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we actually plugged it before it launched.
Yeah.
In those days, we literally could do what we like on the radio. It's very different now.
Yeah.
But for me, it was always a landing ground because I looked at the landscape of media, and I said to myself, first of all, I know podcasting is going to be huge because it's huge around the world, but also it's like so many people leave radio and disappear. And that's just, you just don't know where they are. And I think because of how intense and how powerful radio is, it's very important for us to create something that we own, that we can do what we like with, that we can monetize, that we can express ourselves on. And for me, it's so much serendipity because so many things happened around that time. COVID came in, and I always say that even for our podcast, if somebody is going to study COVID in a year's time, they just have to listen to the mics are open.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because
covered like literally everything.
Pandemic.
We went from not believing it to believing it to vaccine to no vaccine, to being sick, to going to hospital. Sure. So we went through the whole COVID experience. Like we went through the entire COVID experience, and when I felt sick, it was crazy because we spoke about it on the pod, like, because COVID, like, it's hard to believe how crazy COVID was, man. So
I know.
But what's your standpoint right now? Do you think you're really sick because of COVID, or?
I know that I almost
Do you
died.
believe it?
So with me, my COVID story is different. I had COVID.
Yeah.
Like the first week, I was fine. I was like, okay, if this is COVID, I can live with it.
Yeah.
The second week, that thing put me on my back. I won't even lie. Like, I wouldn't wish it. I remember laying in the house and I was like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It was bad. It was like, people talk about a really bad flu or whatever. I mean, for me, my oxygen levels were like below 90. A lot was going on. And the thing is, when I recovered from COVID is when I got sick. So I 2 weeks, it ran its course, I was negative. And then a week after, I remember I got negative on the Monday. On the Friday, I had it's called a pulmonary embolism. So they found 2 clots in my lungs. So yeah, I'm a very lucky human being, and it's a life-changing experience. And luckily, I got to the hospital, and shout going out to everybody at Aga Khan. They looked after me, and I was there for like 3 weeks. And so you see, with COVID, it's like, yes, by now it's so diluted that it's like a flu. But then I think at the time, especially globally, it exposed so many underlying issues for people. Because that's what COVID is like. It was like, it gets into you and it says, where's the weakest part? And for me, I'm asthmatic as well. So that whole respiratory thing, it was like,
it fucked you up,
this is how we're going to get this guy,
Because let me tell you, I remember at that time, that back then I was living in Rongai, so I was good as neighbor. And during the COVID season, we were just playing FIFA. We're like, we're just seeing COVID on the TV. We're like, is this shit even real? We just look at it. They're seeing the numbers every day, like people are dying, people getting sick.
And sometimes
it wasn't too real.
Sometimes when I hear, because even there are people who obviously there are conspiracy theories. It's not real. It's this. It's that. It's they only give you the vaccine, the this, the that. I have heard all those stories. But I'm somebody who has never, ever, ever in my entire life spent even a day in hospital. You know what I'm trying to say? I've never been in hospital. I've never broken a limb. I've never had to go for it. I've never been sick. And I used to tell guys, like, in all my years, I've never been sick. So
then boom,
there must be something.
I know.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
for us, COVID was like, is it a conspiracy or something?
It's something we just saw,
we just saw it.
Seeing from other people.
No one in my family contacted.
Right,
so,
right. Well,
it's just something made up by the government.
I've had it twice, but like if you study how vaccines, how these what are they called viruses work. As they mutate, they tend to either get weaker and weaker and weaker. And as a human, you develop a level of immunity as well. For sure. So end of the day, like, man, I'm just happy to be alive.
You
bro.
got vaccinated though?
Yeah. I got I'll be honest with you, like, I never actually wanted to get vaccinated. As in, I never wanted to get vaccinated, and all throughout the COVID run, if I hadn't fallen sick, I wouldn't have got vaccinated. But when I felt sick and I thought about, like, damn, I can't even go to now see my family.
But you're someone, you like traveling.
Huh?
You like traveling.
Yeah, I like traveling.
Yeah.
So that was the thing now.
Yeah.
So when I got, because when you have clots in your lungs, you can't travel. So I couldn't travel for like 8 months. So it was like, by that time, I'm like, yo, man, I need to go and see my family. I hadn't seen them for like 2 years. I was like, yo, fuck it. Give me the vax. But I didn't get I got like you know, first of all, it was 1, then it was 2, then it was 3. I had 2, and when it got to 3, I'm like, you know what? I'm never taking another one of these ones.
For sure.
Yeah, because I'm telling you guys about the vaccine. Once the mics are off, I'm gonna tell you a story, man. I don't want to incriminate myself over here. But,
well, obviously the mics are not open here. No, but for me, I mean, you know, I'm a man of science, and I look at all of the pros and the cons.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm fortunate also to have many doctors who work in that space around me, and my thing is this, like, generally we have to look after ourselves anyway.
True.
So it's like, as you get older, man, like I was telling someone, actually this morning I was telling someone, like, you know, as you get older, it's really funny how your body changes, like in the sense of like, now when I go to the gym now, man, that recovery is like, you know, when the trainer calls you the next day, like I look at the days pre-COVID when man could go gym 5 days a week. Now I'm like, hey.
It's kind of difficult.
You know, so it's, as you get older, it's one of those. But you have
the
to
age
look
is
after
creeping
yourself.
up, yo.
Yeah, right, man. I'm old, brother. I'm blessed to be in the space to do
But
what I
yo,
do.
sure.
what you started with by saying like, Loki, you could take over the podcast. I think we should control the tempo now.
Yes,
So
no,
the guys,
sorry.
Let me tell you.
Sorry.
You've been talking
I
for a
can
minute.
sit here and just let Jimani talk.
True.
No, it's your podcast, man.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
it's,
But
and you know, doing radio, you just.
I really had a question that I wanted to ask you in regards to the pods must be crazy. We're gonna talk about it in a minute. But
Okay.
who comes up with these names, man? The mics are open. The pods must be crazy because that guy is
I think
the
it's
title
Calvin.
for your episodes also.
So it's funny. The mics are open.
Yeah.
We just sat in the office. It was me, Calvin.
And
Kadzo was there as well. She was a creative who used to work for us. Me, Andy was there. I'm not sure if Neville was there. Because the podcast started at a time when Neville snaked us and went to Capital. Once we hit the mics are open, it just felt right.
Yeah.
The pods must be crazy. I came up with that because I remember the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't want to just say,
The gods must be crazy.
yeah, I didn't want it to be, this is the mics are open live.
Oh yeah,
Or
for sure.
It's a live when the mics are open, come to our live. I wanted something that we could do that's a bit more flexible. So for example, because we produce so much content at the studio, we have the wake up call with Grouchy, we have lockdown session, there's a new football one we have called Wildcard, there's Hafari with Breaking Hearts. There's a new one with the chicks, Ashley and Nimrat, called DST, and obviously the mics are open. So the pods must be crazy gives us the opportunity to showcase everything we do, not just the mics are open.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? So so there'll be bits where it'll be the chop shop with Neville and Andy. There'll be bits when it'll be. So we're just trying to create something that when you it showcases everything that we do as a company. So I didn't want it just to be the because I mean
that's big though. That's big. Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Sorry.
My nigga.
Yeah. So that's the plan. For the pods must be crazy. And even the titles for the the truth is the titles for the pods happen on Friday mornings, usually in a rush, me and Grouchy. So Grouchy's on my show on Friday mornings on Homeboys Radio. So he's the one who does the graphics for the mics are open, the thumbnails. So he's always like, yo, G, what's the name of the pod? And I'm like, oh shit, what did we talk about? Because you do a pod. Once you finish it, you forgot what you're talking about, man. We start and like do this. So we Friday mornings we just come up with a nonsense name.
Damn,
nice.
But let me tell you, man, passengers, if you haven't copped your ticket yet, you need to do that, man.
Yeah,
we go out like, was it a month ago? Like what, 3 weeks ago? So we're gonna be there, man. So
I appreciate that, and you know what? It's crazy because I'm happy to hear that, because even when Sandwich Podcasts do their lives, you know, shout out to Tonio, Joe, Owen and Namita. I make sure that I buy tickets.
True.
Because it's important to keep.
It is.
I believe that it's important to keep money circulating and let people see the value in what they're doing. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I really appreciate.
Before we even get to it, man, what's been happening? Because I have a wild story, man. You guys, you heard about the guy the self-proclaimed Jesus from Bungoma?
Yeah.
The guy recently issued a statement and said that his life is at risk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because people now are saying like it's close to Easter And people want to sacrifice him. Yeah,
they want to crucify him.
They don't sacrifice, crucify him.
The question is, are you allowed to swear on this pod?
For sure.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
You know what you call that? Fuck around and find out. You get me? He decided to fuck around.
He's been eating money for a second. Now it's time to pay his dues.
I saw that story and I was like, oh, so this guy, you know, he's a Jesus of Bongoma. He's got 8 kids, maybe 2 wives, all of these things. But now it's Easter. It's your turn.
It's your turn, man.
It's your turn.
You gotta be up on the cross now.
And more importantly, we are waiting to see the resurrection. Yeah, that's madness.
Hey, you already chickened out from
funny
it.
Thing, man. People believe in him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
religion
you know,
is crazy.
They say that religion is the opiate of the masses, and even if you look at how the wider context of Kenya, it's like religion has always been used to control people, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
True.
You know, if you think about it, the question I will always ask is, let me turn off mine before I embarrass myself.
Same.
Yeah. The question I would always ask is, as Africans, we were here for so long before colonization.
Yeah, for sure.
And we had all of our indigenous religions and our native religions, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's a religion called Santeria, which basically a lot of the slaves who went towards the Caribbean, mostly say Cuba and those places, they took their religion with them, and it's very ritualistic. In fact, my brother is actually a Santeria. That's his religion, right? So I always ask the question, why have our religions not been seen as good enough, yet the colonizers' religion is the religion of choice? So when you see like, even with this debate at the moment with LGBT, I can never get it right. LGBTQ, right? Plus whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the debate and all the values and stuff. Sawa, there's a debate, right?
Yeah.
But when the church says we don't want the Western values, then I'm like, but
considering Christianity is also Western.
It makes
And
no
I saw
sense.
they were trying to change the Our Father prayer. I don't know. They say Father is too misogynistic, so I don't want to say.
So you see, it's like one of those ones where Christianity specifically was used as a tool of imperialization.
True.
If there was no Christian, like if you think about it, if you talk about whenever Christopher Columbus went around the world and discovered places that already had people, he discovered it for God and Queen Isabella and all these people.
Elizabeth.
Isabella at the time in Spain, right? When the British and the Dutch and the rest of those guys came into Africa, it was the same thing. It's like, you know, we're here to make the natives civilized. Yeah. We're here to colonize on behalf. They came in with Bibles, bro.
True.
They came in with
Bible,
Bibles, like,
right hand, gun on the left.
Yeah. You know, it's like they came with Bibles and they were like, this is this. They set up their little churches, and you're telling me that after all of that, right? Here we are 400-500 years later. And that's a dominant religion. So if that's what you want, that's what you want. But don't tell me about Western values when a tool of oppression or a tool of imperialism is what you represent.
True.
Do you know what I mean? I get it in terms of African values and traditions. I get all of that. But I have a problem with the church not speaking when it needs to be speaking. Like, end of the day, fam, churches don't get taxed in Kenya.
Oh, they don't.
Right?
They don't.
And then you see every year they report all of these profits, Not profits, money profits, right? Yeah. And the thing about it is, fam, we are in a severe drought.
Yeah.
Where has the leadership been?
Oh, they went to pray.
Where has the leadership been? The leadership needs to be a case of, okay, you know what? As this church, we made 10 billion last year. All right, we have operating costs, so we can give you 2.
Yeah.
We're donating 2 billion to this debt thing. And also, because we're Christians and because we believe in God, we're also going to invest a level of money in research of how we can prevent this from happening again.
Yeah.
That's what we do for the good of mankind.
Yeah.
Where are those conversations?
And what's actually crazy, remember there's an episode you guys were talking about how during the COVID times, how Pornhub contributed more to food relief during COVID times compared to how the church reacted towards COVID. It was just about prayer and everything, but no actual food.
It's one of those ones. So I mean, I'm very iconoclastic when it comes to many things like that. So I'm always gonna question, and I'm always gonna say to myself, well, okay. So I believe the power of mankind rests in you. Yeah, the person who's watching this podcast, yourselves, you know, because we talk about change, we talk about creating change and creating more equitable societies. We have to do it within ourselves first, and then it multiplies and goes forth.
Even the means of that time, was it only me who realized, but the leaders going to pray at Nyayo Stadium on the 14th of February? Man,
I just thought that was a great way to get out on Valentine's. But I'm always like that. I always have an ulterior thought. I'm like, yo, this is dope. No, prayer changes, man. You know, it's even myself. I'm conflicted because I wake up every morning and I pray every morning without fail. It's part of my morning.
You guys see Jimania, it's never too early to give thanks.
You know, and I wasn't always like that. You know, I spent the vast majority of my life not praying. But when I fell sick and there were some things that happened during that time, it really opened my eyes to the spiritual side of things. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And so I get it, and I understand the power of prayer. What I would question is it being woven into the national governance dialogue.
Yeah, and actually right now there's actually an office. I think they're recruiting like 100 people now, and they're going to use the state money to be praying for.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, it's all crazy, man.
Tough times.
Tough times. Never
man.
last.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Hasora. Yeah.
Hey.
But
anyway, let's just get right into the topic of today, man. We're going to talk about, you know, in all the years of living, have you ever gotten into a physical altercation or fight?
Oh, fights?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
In my former lives, yes. Many.
And how'd you deal with that? Yeah.
I'm sending a text, but I'm still gonna keep on talking.
No worries.
Because I want to go for rugby later. Yeah. So I used to fight a lot growing up.
Okay.
And it's like I used to always be that guy with the fists until one day I got my ass whooped badly. And then I was like, nah.
What age was this?
This is probably teenage years. I've not had a fight. Yeah. I've never had a fight as an adult.
Oh, okay.
I was like, you know, like you see guys coming out of a bar or like they fight. Like even yesterday in the club, I see a man punch a guy by the elevator. I've never had one of those.
Yeah.
But I have grabbed a few niggas. Like I won't lie to you. I've done that. What the fuck, you know?
Go on, I fucking dare you! Push it through my letterbox again! And it'll be last year you fucking thing, I'm waiting!
A few times.
You're gonna land today.
Yeah.
What do you mean, bro?
Yeah, there's been a couple in Jamaica we call it drapes.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it always when I get to that point, I'm always triggered into calming down.
Yeah.
Because I just know that it's not the best way. I've had to work on my temper, like even outside of fighting, even in terms of just flaring up and just like, you know, a lot of people say that like, you're too harsh. I'm not harsh. It's at the end of the day, I've had to really work on my temper. But I haven't had a fight for many years. For a long time. The last fight I had, I realized that it's better to have people who
fight for you.
That too. But you know, I always like, even those teenage years, I was like, you know what? Rather than me be fighting, let me just have these people around me who, when people see that I'm around these people, they're not even gonna want to
fuck with you, man.
You know what I'm trying to say? So that's how I went through my latter stages of my teens. But I used to enjoy fighting, man. It used to be,
for sure.
It used to be. But there's that one time I got my ass busted, and I was like, this is not fun anymore.
I have a story.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure Good is super excited for this topic, man.
You look like a fighter, though.
I used to.
This little scar here, like
my sister.
You were fighting.
Yeah.
I think we all have
battle scars.
We all have. I don't know most people, but I know for me, we all have a scar from a sibling.
Yeah, for sure.
I've got a scar from my leg right up here, my sister as well.
Yeah.
We all have to. You have to have a sibling scar.
I also have
they're
a
the
scar, but
meanest,
it's
though.
just not from fighting, but still from my sister. But
Yeah,
it's still a
exactly.
scar.
You have to have a sibling scar.
Yeah.
So what happened? We were drinking with Chia. Yeah.
Surprise.
Back in West Mall.
Nairobi West.
Yeah.
Mall.
Yeah.
Hey, I have stories about it. I used to drink there back in the day. Hey, wow.
Oh man. So there were these dudes. They were big.
They're rugby guys.
They're rugby guys.
Nairobi West Mall. Let me tell you, that's where guys go to drink. In fact, there's a rugby player who has a bar there. A small bar there.
I think that's
Yeah.
We might have been drinking there. Not
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah, we were drinking.
Right.
So, so there's this guy. What did he say? Oh, there's something I did. I don't remember. Yeah, I was drunk. Oh, yeah. So there were these chicks. As I was passing by, I poured some drink on them. And then I was like, hey, yo, sorry, I'm so sorry. So for me, I knew I had apologized. I don't know. I went out and grabbed some smokies. Came back. This girl was like, hey, you need to apologize. I was like, yo, I just did. Yeah, I went back and apologized again. Then I said, fuck this shit. The girl was like, what? What did
So
you
the guy just had the fuck. He was like,
fuck this shit.
it's about to go
So I
down,
was
man.
drunk. I was drunk. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I said it. Fuck this shit. So I went to the loo. Oh my God.
They came for you.
Yeah.
In the loo?
No. They waited outside. Man, I came back. There were like 7 dudes.
Rugby guys.
Yeah.
Rugby guys. I got a story.
Damn.
I got a story.
Fam.
They worked on you.
Mad.
I
I had that one
Bro,
t-shirt. The white
The
t-shirt.
white one, it was
covered
full
with
of blood stains. And
from
They
that
worked on
day
you
on.
properly.
For sure, I was down. She was out there. I said,
shit.
Let me tell you, from my POV, it was crazy. Because let me just say this publicly.
You were there too.
Yeah, I was.
Hey.
I gotta say this, yeah. When it comes to fight, just look at me, man. I'm a pussy, man.
I
I ran away from all fights.
was about to say, there's no
Obviously, I
fight.
wasn't gonna be the one coming and throwing punches, you know.
hey.
So I come out of the washroom, yeah. Just went take a leak, washed my hands. I'm coming outside. I'm seeing good on the floor. People are like seriously punching him.
Man.
I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And look at our backup, the light skinned guy who just left over here.
Oh, wow.
We were fucked, man. We were super fucked,
Man,
yeah.
from that day. Hey, from
Bro,
that day,
let me tell
I just live outside. So I'm like, yo, what's up? What going on? I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Some guy just came and slapped me, man. I've never felt like a bitch, man. in my entire life, he just
Bro,
took one.
Let me tell you a
man.
story. So years ago, I used to do this event in Resorts, Uptown Thursdays. It was a dancehall thing. 2008, those days.
Uh-huh.
And the rugby guys used to always be there.
Yeah.
Kolo, Oscar Uma, even Benja, all those guys who used to play rugby. Some of the names I don't remember,
man.
right? They always used to be there. Fam, I don't think we could go for 2 weeks without a fight. There had to be a fight
for sure.
with them man there.
Yeah.
The other day, we went to Nakuru. Me, Grouchy, another pal of ours, about 5 of us went. So me, as usual, once I finished DJing, I just want to go back to the hotel. So I left them at the venue. Went back to the hotel. The next day, I'm hearing stories about who was beaten. There's some rugby guys from Nakuru they got into a fight with. And the thing about this is like rugby guys, it's what they do.
It's
like,
their natural instinct.
Yeah.
Testosterone,
it's what they do, man. Like even when I used to play in Harlequins before they built Orchid there, and I used to do a Sunday gig there, bro. A Sunday couldn't go past without a fight. It's what they do.
For sure.
Do you know what I mean?
But I
So,
learned
follow,
my
man.
lesson. No. It
Follow.
taught me something.
They stamped you good, huh?
No, let me tell
And
you.
crazy
they
enough,
use-
these people afterwards, they came and offered
Of
us
course,
a drink.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Basketball team, yeah, they were having a couple of drinks, and in one of them, I don't know how the altercation started. And then this girl was like, "Yo, wagon, bro." They removed like a super long knives from the you know, you're
machete.
from London,
Wow,
you know this shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Stabbing is real.
Stabbing is
Bro,
real,
this
bro.
nigga was stabbed and he died on the spot.
Oh, man,
on
so
the
sad.
spot.
Man.
Yo,
Yeah,
so like, you know, it's something you can actually avoid. But
Yeah, if you can avoid, man, if you can avoid fights, man, like I don't understand like how you just wake up one day and you go to a club and like the next thing you're fighting. I don't get it.
Yeah,
You know, I
stress,
just
baby.
don't get it. Like yesterday, guys were fighting to go into the elevator at the club. Like one guy wants to hold the elevator for his girl, and the guy wants to leave. What do you mean? Us guys want to leave? You can't hold the elevator. Pow.
And the funny thing, they're always stupid.
Huh?
the arguments.
Sure.
Oh, they build up to the fight. It's always over some stupid thing.
Yeah. So you're not a fighter?
Nah. But I gotta warn everyone though. I took martial arts classes.
Was that before or after the slap?
Hey, let me tell you, this was before. I think I was in like Form 3 or something. So I did like around a 1 month training for martial arts.
You know, that's
and the
just
only reason why I dropped that stuff is because I think at the beginning, the trainer was trying to introduce us is like, you need to learn to control your chi or something, call it like that. So he was trying to show us some dance moves, like how you can control your energy and everything, you know.
Right.
Bruh, me, I'm doing these routines, I'm feeling nothing. He's like, yo, you guys, are you feeling it? Can you feel it move from your left hand to your right hand? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm feeling
That sounds like Power Rangers.
I'm feeling shit, man. But I think I should have stuck with it. And probably like, right now it's like, what, 5-6 years later would have been retired.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think fighting is it's a long thing, bro.
Yeah, fighting is
It's just a long thing.
I had PTSD. I couldn't sleep like for a week.
Really?
Yeah. Every time I try to close my...
How long ago was this?
Is it like a year ago? Or a year
Jeez,
and
just
a
the
half?
other day.
Yeah.
The other day.
You were fighting up until a year ago. Jeez.
Yeah, but
them
I stopped.
fighting, man.
But I stopped. But then onwards, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
But what would make you fight though? Like let's say like you guys are pals outside, right?
Yeah.
You hang out outside, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even for us guys on the mics, we really hang out.
Oh,
We
for
really
real?
hang out, yeah.
Okay.
Like I mean, I work with Andy, so I see Andy every day.
Yeah.
Calvin nowadays, I see him like once a week. Ashley, we speak to a lot because we do like other stuff as well.
Yeah.
But I can't. The last time we were all together was actually Sandwich Podcast.
Oh, for real.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Calvin
wasn't there.
And then you'll find there are times where Calvin goes to places and Andy and Nev and Ashley will be there. So I think it's very interesting because everybody assumes that we just hang out. We don't really hang out.
Yeah.
I used to assume that.
Yeah,
For real.
we don't really hang out.
You're
much
busy
at all.
guys. You're busy guys.
Yeah, I think we're busy guys, and also I think we're very different, man. We're so different.
Oh.
Like, as in Andy's on his own wave, Calvin's on his own wave. We don't necessarily enjoy the same things. So Calvin loves outdoors and road trips and these things. So a weekend he'll be in Nyeri or he'll be somewhere else. You just see him in his car somewhere else.
Yeah.
Andy will go out, but he also he loves his house. Do you know what I mean? Nev and Andy are tight.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nev, Andy, and Ashley.
That's the
So
one
it's a different.
Yeah.
It's a very. So we're all very different. And for me, I mean, it's crazy. I don't really go out much. If I'm DJing, yes, you know, like I'm in the clubs, but I always tell people, a doctor will not go and hang out at the hospital on his day off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when I have free time, the last place I want to go
That's to a
is
club.
to a club.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Ah.
You know what I mean? So
That makes so much sense, yeah.
yeah, the last place, like when I can't tell you, Sandwich Podcast live was the last time I left my house to go somewhere, and even then I left early because I was going to a gig.
Yeah.
I tend not to be out there. I like my house. I love my house.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm more inclined to invite people to my house
Yeah.
and be like, just come hang out in the yard.
Just like me.
Yeah. Because there's no fights then.
We can't get into that stuff, but I think for us it's quite the opposite. I think the only factor that comes in between is the distance because we live a bit far from each other.
Yeah.
So you still in Rongai?
Yeah.
And you're in
in
Rongai?
somewhere. So that's
Okay.
two different
Yeah.
worlds. But
I've not
when
been
we get
to-
there, we get the chance to usually hang out a
that's
lot.
dope. That's
a
dope.
lot.
I've not been to Rongai for the longest while. Like it's been over 5 years.
For real.
Yeah,
Don't even come. Yeah, that place is dusty.
No.
Last time, yeah, was it last week?
You should use the right word.
Grouchy
man.
was
It is
there
the
last
jungle.
The last time there used to be a mall there called, is it Masai Mall?
Yeah.
But Grouchy usually comes there.
At Hornbill. Yeah, Grouchy plays there at Hornbill.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like, yo, I'm coming, bro. What time you playing? 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock.
Man, I know.
Yeah. But true story, random story.
Yeah.
Rongai was one of the first places I ever discovered on my own. So that when I first touched down, it was like I had a vehicle, but I didn't know my way around Nairobi. So one day I remember just like getting in. I had a Discovery at the time, and it was branded Homeboys Radio all over it.
Man.
And I remember driving up Langata, driving. There used to be a place. Is it called Legends?
Yeah, Legend. Yeah, the club.
There in Rongai. Yeah,
Yeah, it's in Rongai.
I was going past Legends, and I just remember like at some point now I'm like, okay, shit, you need to turn back because you don't know where you are. You know what I mean? And I remember turning the vehicle, and like there was about, I know, like in front of a shop or something, and like 4 or 5 guys came over to the vehicle and they were like, "Yo, Homeboys." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yep, this is it. I'm about to be lynched in Africa. And they were like, yo, Homeboys Radio, Homeboys. And I'm like, yeah, cool, you know. And that was my first excursion ever on my own. Yeah, you know.
Have you guys seen that video for where Justin Bieber gets a car malfunction in a black neighborhood? And then people are telling him like, do push-ups, sing for us.
Oh, really?
I'm relating it to GG, like in the middle of nowhere. Homeboys Radio.
Man, there's
I'm in the ghetto.
Yeah, no, but like then there used to be a club in Masai Mall. Yeah, Commonwealth, it was cool. I remember DJing there once or twice. Yeah. But honestly, funnily enough, I don't see myself living in Nairobi for much longer.
Oh, for real?
Okay.
Yeah. Where do you plan to live?
Like I feel like the outskirts are calling me. Like I really want to get out of the city, and I think that like once I finish with radio, I don't think I'll stay much. I don't think I'll stay much in Nairobi. I think I love Nairobi, but I think Nairobi is a place. I think it's overrated.
Nah.
For the youngins, nah.
No, for the youngins, no, actually,
sure.
that's true. For the youngins, nah.
Yeah.
But when I say overrated, it's like, I think there's something about nature and just green stuff like, you know, can you imagine if you had a house in the heart of Tigoni or somewhere like that?
Tigoni is
a
nice place, by the way.
So, and it's not so far from Nairobi.
Nairobi, I usually use that route going to Nakuru.
Exactly. So for me, it would be like,
dope.
Let's say I have to be in Nairobi at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning. See, I'll just leave Tigoni early and come down.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, like, I know people, especially with this work from home thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, I just feel myself with a garden and it's like the birds and shit. Like, I just
the life.
I'm telling you, in order to agree with that statement, I must get to your age, man. For now, I think like Nairobi is.
Everyone knows
literally
I celebrated my
everything
50th birthday last year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Happy belated, by the way.
Yeah. It's like I don't even know when it happened.
Did Andy get you the wine that he broke?
Oh, Andy, man, he broke my gift. The thing is, you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
It's like there's a clip. I don't know if you guys are you guys into football?
Yeah, for sure.
Which team you support?
Man City.
Man City.
Yeah, for sure.
You're a newbie.
No. I used to support
support?
Chelsea.
I don't want to say it now, but Chelsea, man.
What did you support? Come on, Manu? Not into football, you? So it's Manu,
Man City.
Man City.
I'm proud. Manchester is blue.
Okay.
No one can tell.
All right, let me tell you something. Let's just go into football for 2 minutes, yeah?
Yeah.
For everyone, you guys support Man United? Ten Hag is doing things.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like if you like football, even as a person who's an Arsenal fan, I look at what he's doing for that club.
Yeah.
I'm an Arsenal fan. Everyone knows that, you know. Even as when I look at what he's doing at that club, and in terms of how the team is playing,
discipline. Yeah.
Oh man, those guys are. I didn't rate him when he first came.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything about him. But yeah, I'm giving him his props. Man City. Sure. First of all, it's hard to really take you guys seriously because you guys are only Man City fans since they had money. You get me? Since like
that's true though.
Before, all right. So there's Pep. Who was before Pep?
Pellegrini.
And who's before Pellegrini?
Mancini.
And who's before Mancini?
And I don't remember.
Exactly. So I don't remember who was before Mancini. Who was before Mancini? You see, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's a recent
It's
history.
a recent club.
You know,
Man.
Chelsea. But for you guys,
But I used to support Chelsea.
I don't. But see, it's different. Like, I don't understand how you guys can change teams.
Now, that was before I started watching football.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started way later. Then I discovered Man City. Man,
Right.
I loved them.
That was it.
Yeah, Toure.
Man,
I love
you know, it's like when you grow up in the UK, it's like your team is your team for life.
For
it.
life.
For sure.
Like I always say, tribalism in the UK is football.
For real.
Because all of these, look at it. Look at Brentford. Brentford in the Premier League, right? I know a guy who supported Brentford for the last 20, 25 years. Even when they were in the Division 3 and way down.
Oh.
So yeah, because like, you know, when you support the team that's next to you. So in London, there are so many football teams. Like, you know, there's Fulham, there's Chelsea, there's Brentford, there's Queen's Park Rangers, there's Arsenal, there's Tottenham, there's West Ham, there's Leighton, there's so many teams. So like if I'm from East London or North London, then I might support Tottenham or support Leighton or support Arsenal, depending on your choice. But yeah, Ten Hag is doing bits.
Oh, for sure.
Why did we start talking about football? I don't know. How did we get there?
But before we move from here, G, you had me for a second when you posted that pic with the money.
The Man U Chelsea.
I was like,
man.
So
and then the next day is like, yo, I had a crazy dream. I had me for a second there, man.
So the thing about it is, it's like the funny thing about social media is sometimes I'm just in the house and I'm like, you know what? Let me how can I get a next level of trolling Manchester United? And by the way, I have no issue with Manchester United. By the way,
because they're doing great stuff.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, traditionally, you're growing up in London, you know, if you're an Arsenal fan, you hate Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know, Man United, like guys in Man United, in Manchester United, and apart from those Wenger years, Alex Ferguson, guys, there's no real, but in Kenya, the rivalry is so intense.
Oh, yeah.
Super.
So I'm always,
intense.
I'm always thinking of ways to troll Manchester United, and then the fan base is so passionate.
Yeah.
So that day when I posted myself in the Man United shirt, I literally woke up that morning and I was like,
what can I do to annoy them more?
What can I do today? Yes, I'm gonna buy a Manchester United shirt. And then I called Venom, and Venom's my plug. He went and got the shirt. He brought it to the house, and he's like, Why do you want that? I said, watch this. I popped the cameras, and I was like, you know, it's time. Like that shit broke the internet.
I saw it.
Yeah, man.
Had to.
Yeah.
We're bringing it back to the conversation. I had a question for you.
Yes.
What's the coolest thing about being a DJ?
There's nothing cool about being a DJ.
An international DJ.
An international one.
Well, I've been an international DJ for a long time. No, seriously. I said, it's funny you should mention this. Who was I talking to? It's Grouchy, actually. I was talking to Grouchy yesterday, Friday. I was talking to Grouchy. It's like, the best thing I think about DJing is DJing has allowed me to see the world on somebody else's expense. You get me? You get me?
Yeah.
So, for example, you know, I did my first gig in Dubai in 2007. And at that point, Dubai was just, it wasn't the Dubai you see now. It was just cranes everywhere, development. Like it was just being built.
Build it up.
And now going there and seeing that it's like literally finished and all that stuff now. So, you know, I've DJed in Dubai, I've DJed in Bulgaria, Spain, France, across the Caribbean, from St. Lucia to Trinidad, New York, obviously Qatar, Dubai, States. Like, you know what I'm saying? But the good thing about it is, even Bosnia, that's crazy. The good thing about it is seeing the world on somebody else's expense, you know? And just like, bro, like, do you know how wild it is to have a life where for the last 30 years, right, I've literally done the shit that I enjoyed doing. Like radio, like DJing. And then also, you know, when I was working in the UK at the BBC, even that, like, you know, there's a time they took us to Portugal to cover the Euros. I mean, I've gone to Germany to cover the World Cup. There's a time we went to Trinidad to cover the Carnival. I'm going to all of these places just because of your passion. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I've finished like 6-7 passports. Like even I used to collect my passports, and I think now I have like 5 or 6 that I just completely finished. And the majority of them have been for DJ gigs, you know? Like Africa, man, like fam, think about it. Like, you know, I mentioned those places that I've DJ'd, but then there's Accra, there's Nigeria, there's Uganda, there's Tanzania, there's South Africa, there's, you know, just places that are around the corner, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's been amazing, man. I look at success differently, you know? I don't look at success from a financial perspective, you know? I'm nowhere near as rich as people think. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? But God has been good, and it's like, for me, success has been able to live on my own wavelength, you know? Like waking up every single day. There's not been a day that I've woken up and had to do something. In the last 20, 30 years, like there's not, I had a job, like a proper job. That was in 90-something, 96. I had a proper job. I mean, I have a proper job now, but you know, like a
before
tie and suit kind of job.
For sure.
And I did that job for like 6 years as advertising. And since then, bro, it's just been a wave, like waking up and like, you know, I love radio. So radio doesn't feel like work. I love DJing, so that doesn't feel like work. So it's just like, sometimes I look back and I'm like, shit, where's that time gone? Because, you know, I have friends who have like at the same time of been in offices and built companies and run for government and all of these things. And there's me in Milan on a Friday. But you see, it's torn up. You know, and it's really funny when you think about it, because it's like, it's such a blessing to have been able to just do the stuff that I want to do. And it's like, you know, like even like podcasting, it's like, it's given, nobody says to me, very few people say to me these days, it's like, yo, I listened to your show this morning, it was dope. But bro, I can't walk anywhere in the country. Mics are open. Mics are open. Mics are Fam, let me tell you, it's crazy. I was in Mombasa last weekend. Well, you guys really follow me, yeah? I was in Mombasa last weekend, and
you told us about it before we left.
I was in Mombasa last weekend, and I walked into this place. It's called 10th Street. They do the best burgers, man. And like I walked in, and it was just like, Mike's open, money. I'm like, wow, this shit is crazy, you know? It's crazy. It's crazy. Man. Do you know what I mean? So it's a blessing, bro. It's a blessing, and that's why I think the podcasting space is so important. And like, what you guys are doing, what they're doing here at Trio Media as well, creating a space where guys can go and have conversations and you know, get our dreams out. Because, for example, speaking about that, the Good Company is actually an acronym. The name of the company is Getting Out Our Dreams, which is it's not actually called the Good Company.
Instead of Getting Out Our Dreams.
Yeah, it's like Getting Out Our Dreams. Okay. So GOOD. So if you write me a check right now and says the Good Company, I can't cash it. The company is actually called Getting Out Our Dreams. And we borrowed that from Kanye, because Kanye, when he had good music, it was GOOD, Getting Out Our Dreams. You know what I mean? And I'm a big Kanye stan, you know?
For sure.
And
have you met him? I see you met 50.
I met Kanye. I met 50 more than once. Jay-Z once. I met
But
Kanye.
G, you've lived the life, man. You've lived the life. Damn.
Bro, let me tell you. So, I mean, there's a picture when Kanye was dropping the first album. He came to London, and we were at the BBC then, and he had a listening party in the studio. The studio was as big as this room. It's crazy. Like I was there. Semtex was there. Some other guys were there. We were all just listening to this crazy guy who's just like, and he's playing the songs and he's playing. And then when we look back at the pictures years later, you realize who was in the picture, sitting there looking like a church boy, John Legend. John Legend was in the picture as well, but nobody knew who he was
For real?
at the time. If I'll try and find the picture, send it to you. John Legend is just sat there like this.
Shit.
And I'm like, years later, we're like, shit,
Shit.
John Legend. You know, with
Come on,
Kanye.
man.
So you know, that's what I'm telling you, man. Living a life like that's an unbelievable life, bro.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable life. But I remember when I interviewed Jay-Z, it was like, first of all, I'm a Jay-Z stan as well.
Yeah.
So we get to, he comes to the building and it's a really small elevator. And we're going up to the second floor. And he has his staff and all these record label people around him. And he's like, yo, how many floors? And he's like, I'm like, we're going up 2 floors. And he's like, oh, y'all take the stairs. And I'm like getting in the lift. I'm like, fuck, this nigga just told everyone to take the stairs while we're in the elevator. I'm like, yo, Jay was, like, you know, Jay-Z, you know, this is the one chance you get to sit down with this guy. So we're interviewing him. And in my mind, I'm saying, I want these drops. I want Jay-Z to say, I'm chilling with G-Money. And I remember giving him a sheet of paper like, oh, could you just say this? Like, he did the first 2 and he's like, nah, I ain't saying all of that. Yeah, so I got 2 drops out of him, which I've played all these last hundreds of years.
Listen,
but,
if you had to pick one person, 50 Cent or Jay-Z?
in terms of when we've
Head to
interviewed
head,
them,
what?
Yeah, in terms of interviewing them.
or in terms of impact.
Not the impact they've had on hip hop, just interviewing them, you know, like them as beings.
I think that like 50 was much more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
50 was much more fun. I've interviewed
Because 50 is a bit talkative too,
yeah. I've interviewed 50 twice. He was a lot more fun. I think the best interview or the most memorable interviews I've had, Kelly Rowland was amazing.
Oh, okay. An icon, that one,
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed Destiny's Child when it was
Destiny.
Beyonce,
Yeah.
Kelly, and
Yeah.
Latavia Latoya. Beyonce did not say a word in the entire interview. She just sat there like, I have a sore throat. She has a sore throat.
Yeah.
But I figure more or less like she just didn't want to talk. And Kelly was there talkative and stuff. Ludacris was fun as well. And a lot of the R&B, like, you know, the R&B of that era, you know, the Mary J. Blige, A-Marie was dope. Christina Milian was amazing. Ashanti, Ja Rule, all of them. In fact, I was the first person to interview Ashanti on her first trip to the UK. Like, that's a fact.
Yeah?
Like, I don't even know. Like, I got drops like, she's like, yo, G-Money, baby, I'm not always there when you call. I don't even know where they are. I need to find those drops.
But your mix is usually slide in some
drops. So it's been a great journey, man. It's been a great journey, and long may it continue. And I think that for the future, I personally want to step away from at some point being in front. The podcast I'll do for as long as I can, and the mics are open is not a G-Money podcast. I see it morphing in the years to come to where other people are there, but it's still the mics are open. Do you know what I mean? I think that's the goal for me and Calvin. Because you see, the thing about it is, it's like, I think we make a mistake when we just focus on one thing. Like, for example, you know, doing the mics are open is dope. I love it. But wouldn't it be dope that in 10 years' time, there's a whole new set of faces on the mics are open, and the brand now is bigger than life.
True.
You know what I'm trying to say? That's what my goal for the mics is. And also just to step back and, you know, I love seeing the new products that we do. Like, for example, DST with Ashley and Dimrat. It's like them going visual and seeing their first episode and creating a group on WhatsApp and saying, you guys need to do this, or that wasn't done properly, or we can do this better. That's where I get my energy from, just to keep moving and keep creating. Because, bro, if you look back at what you've done, you look back in analysis. So if I look back and I say to myself, like, sometimes I'm reminded of stuff that I've done that I've even forgotten about. But if you look forward, you're creating. So you have to decide very quickly in life, am I going to be that person who's always looking back? Because when you look back, you can only analyze the past. You can look back, like if you look back at your fight in Nairobi West, right? You'd say, you know what? If I had spilled the drink on those girls and apologized, and these guys were now going to get rowdy, I probably wouldn't have been as flippant with them as I. Yeah, analysis.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas you can sit back there and say, now, I'm making a decision as I go forward in life. I'm not going to get myself into those stupid arguments because I want to, I don't like to be beaten, but also I don't think it's something that really benefits me. So you have to work out yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
Where are you going to sit in life? Are you going to sit in the analysis phase or are you going to sit in the creativity phase? So for me, I'm always trying to look in the creativity phase because you can create your future. You can't create your past. No,
sure.
Exactly.
Or rectify it. Yeah.
That little space is where we always get stuck. That space in the present is important, and it's important to be present, and it's important to be here in the now. We're in this room and having a conversation. But don't think about the future as something that you should be fearful of. Thinking about it, I get the opportunity to create the rest of my life. And that shit is exciting. Yeah. And it will remain exciting. Yeah. The biggest mistake people can make is always, and it happens a lot in the industry, because when you've come up with adulation and you're a G, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you begin to, it's so easy to begin to fear the fall off. You know? Like, why don't you respect me? Do you know who I am? Do you know what I've done?
Oh, yeah.
Whereas there are people out there who probably don't know what you've done and don't care about what you've done. You know what I'm trying to say? It's their time now. So you have to, as guys who've been in the industry for a long time, you have to forget all of that stuff that you've done and concentrate on the creativity from a perspective of not for money, not for this, not for that. I just want to create. And I wake up every single day. My mantra in life is I just want to create cool shit with my friends. Oh, yeah. That's all I want to do. Yeah. I just want to create, you know?
That's heavy because it's going to lead up to my next question. I was going to ask you, speaking of stepping back from the scene, so recently I was watching this interview by a guy called Patrick David. I don't know if you know him. And he was interviewing Kobe, RIP, before he passed, and he was talking about how people at the peak of their careers, now once they retire, there's a depression phase.
Right.
Because now you can no longer like fight if you're Mike Tyson or play.
100%.
How do you plan to deal with that? Yeah? Because I think you summed up pretty much of it by saying you want to keep on creating, you know?
Well, I look at it this way. It's like, radio is my passion.
Yeah.
But at some point, I'm going to wake up in the morning and not have to go and do radio.
Yeah.
So, what do I take from radio that will help me fulfill the next phase of life? There's the discipline of waking up every morning at 4:30. So every morning without a fail, I'm gonna wake up at 4:30 Monday to Friday, right? That's a given. But now I get the chance to use that early morning slot, 4:30 to 9, to work on stuff that I want to do continually.
Yeah.
I'll never not be on the microphone. Like, for example, for the next foreseeable future until we transition into other things, I'll have every single week, I'll have the opportunity to speak on the mics are open.
True.
And on the
radio.
On the radio, on the minisode.
Oh yeah.
And whatever other platforms we create, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna be as severe for me as it has been for other people. Because if it's the limelight, I've never enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to be famous. Like, I've never wanted to, that whole thing of being well known and being famous and I've never wanted it. It's a byproduct of what I've chosen to do with my life. So the minute that's gone, I think I even said it on the podcast this week. The minute I'm off radio or not DJing and I've chosen not to do it no more, I'm gonna go so dark on social media. Like, as in, you'll see me post once every 6 months, just proof of life. You know what I mean? But
I'm still there.
I'm still alive. So it's one of those ones where it happens, man. Like, there's that depression when you've been doing something all day. But because I know myself, I'm making sure that I'm safeguarding myself against that thing. And I think that thing comes when you leave this to do nothing, you know?
Yeah.
But you have something else to do.
Yeah, you have something else to do, you know? It's like, if let's say you are a millionaire or a billionaire and you have loads and loads and loads of money, and I speak to my brother about this all the time. It's like, my brother just wants to probably sell his company and then just go and chill. go Iceland and take pictures and
Yeah.
you know, go to festivals around the world and buy watches and these just the things that you want to do without like having to worry about the finances. You know, that's what I think success is.
Yeah. Now to my question. You're one person, you've been in radio. Actually, you are in radio and into podcasting. People out here are saying, yo, the way radio is coming to an end.
Radio will never die.
Exactly. So I was trying to ask myself, how though?
Radio won't die, and it's very simple why radio won't die. It's like still in the villages, in shags, in all of these places, like people still listen to the radio, right?
Yeah, they do.
Radio is still king.
Yeah.
In Nairobi and in urban centers, there's a people who have a lot of choices. And you know, me, I've got Spotify, and me, I've got Apple Music, and me, I've got
SoundCloud
and Boom Play, and
yeah?
these are. But realistically, like from 35 upwards, and you live in let's say you live in Kisumu, you live in Kakamega, you live in Nyeri, you live in wherever you live, right?
Wrong guy.
Yeah. It's like, fam, like you still listen to the radio. You still listen to the radio.
Yeah.
But the numbers have dropped significantly once the.
But they really haven't though.
They haven't.
They haven't.
Yeah,
really
what
have
news
not.
do we get
then?
every time I go home? Our Ghana man, he listens to radio. So I was like, yo.
Yeah. Here's what's happening. I think people are confusing revenue with popularity. So it's like, for example, the listenership will still be there, but are advertisers going to spend as much money on radio as they did in the future? No, because they're going to be more in the digital space. You see it already.
Yeah.
There are campaigns that we run on the podcast that, you know, influencers run that don't even go to radio anymore. So radio revenue is going to shrink. There's a real opportunity for radio. I do believe there's a real opportunity for radio to embrace the podcast culture.
Oh yeah.
And integrate it into what they do. For example, for me, if I ran a station, once we hit midnight, there'd be no music on those stations.
Oh yeah.
It would just be podcasts.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Yeah, if I had a radio station, what's the point of me playing music all night?
Yeah.
I would just have the best podcasts in the country.
Yeah.
So you'd have like, you know, you'd have your podcast, which is maybe an hour. Then we play you 15 minutes of music. Then we start another podcast.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because podcast consumption globally shows you that people still want to hear that human interaction.
Oh yeah, for sure.
People still want to hear voices. You know, as much as radio, they say, oh, you don't talk for more than 30 seconds. Don't talk for more than a minute. Don't talk for more than 2 minutes maximum, right? Yet on a podcast, you have guys talking for an hour.
Limited, yeah.
You know, so it's one of those.
Actually, I don't even know how long we've gone so far.
Probably an hour.
True.
We've done an hour so far. How long is your podcast usually?
Normally
30, 40, 1 hour.
Oh, so all right, bye. Yeah. No,
but
like,
as we gear to the end, I wanted to know your view on that. What do you think about dating in your 20s?
Dating in your 20s?
Like, you know, just being involved.
Let me tell you. And I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
Your 20s, go out there and terrorize the streets.
Yo.
Enjoy yourself. Be safe. You know, be safe. Don't leave babies all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
But enjoy yourself. What? Like, I find that sometimes we try.
So, this is completely genuine. You're like,
100 genuine. Fam.
I think I'm on the right path now. I'm on the right path to life.
Let me break it down, right?
Okay.
You don't want to be in your like 30s and 40s wondering about what if. You know what I'm trying to say? Like in your 20, like you've just finished being a teenager.
Yeah.
You've probably moved out of your parents' house for the first time. Maybe you're at university. Maybe you're
you have that freedom. You
have that freedom. Go out there and enjoy yourself. Enjoy your life. I'm trying to say, don't fuck around and like, don't hurt people. Don't do this, whatever. But enjoy yourself. Because the thing about this is like, if you meet someone in your 20s and that person is destined for you, they'll be there.
Oh, for sure.
They'll be there.
Okay.
Let's say, like, think about it, right? And this is another analogy I'll use. The day your mom met your dad, she probably left home one day. She didn't expect to meet the man she's gonna have kids with. She was just going about her business, right?
Yeah.
They weren't together forever. I mean, so I guess somebody's face is like, I don't know about that. but if you think it, think about it, right? Your dad and your mom had to meet somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it was in church, whether it was university, whether it was just in Lavington Mall, they met, right? Even you guys are not brothers, you're friends, yeah? See, one day you met.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet?
Oh.
School?
Nah, just over FIFA.
Over FIFA?
Yeah, over FIFA.
Over FIFA, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, the day that you guys met, did you leave your house thinking, man, I'm going to meet my best friend for life today? No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Nah.
So if you meet someone who you're compatible with, who you're gonna spend the rest of your life with, you don't know what day you're gonna meet that person, but you know if you meet that person, then it's destined for you. You get
for sure.
So in the meantime, it's like end of the day, there are so many pressures, and I say this so passionately because I mentor a lot of young people, and there's so many pressures that I find men and women putting themselves under. This pressure today, this pressure to be in a relationship, this pressure, oh my God, I'm 25 and I'm not whatever. I'm like, oh, you're going to get to 30 one day, 40 one day, 50 one day, and you're going to look back in there and say, my God, what the fuck was I bugging about? Like, what was that? Yeah. What was that? Jay-Z has a line where he says that, you know, where I can't remember the exact line, but it's along the lines of, I went through this, so you don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
You get me? So if I look at you now as a guy who's probably twice your age, and I say to yourself, man, you're gonna get to this point and it's gonna be like, wow, that stuff I was stressing about when I was in my 20s wasn't important. Yeah. I would say be open to love, be open to relationships. Like, I know in this world of boy child, girl child, this, that, love is a bit, but be open to that human experience. Whether you want to call it love or not, be open to the human experience. But in the meantime, man, like, fuck it, there's so much stress out there. Enjoy yourself, man. If your thing is, I mean, I'm not encouraging anyone to go out there and you know, drink yourself silly or take drugs or whatever. But I'm saying, man, at the end of the day, if not now, then when? When are you going to enjoy your life? Enjoy your life, man. Else, what will happen is, you'll get to 40 and you'll go and buy a motorbike. Because you said, I wanted to have a motorbike when I was 20, but it wasn't to be. I was busy being responsible. You'll wake up with your old ass and go and buy yourself a motorbike. Crash and break a leg. Your leg will take like 20 years to get better. Yeah. Do it now, man. Enjoy yourselves, man. Enjoy yourselves.
And how about that notion for, you know, sacrifice your 20s for a better, you know, work, do all that stuff. What do you think about that?
Let me give you my example, bro. In that phase of my life, and it's something I've only very recently broken, I'm a workaholic. Always working, like, fam. Like, I set up my first station when I was 19. And I was 19 years old, and I was running this station. Everybody in the station was older than me. I'm the station manager, but everybody's older than me. All of these guys were in their 25, 26, 27, some cases 30s. And I spent the whole of my 20s managing this station and managing these guys and having to worry about revenues and this and that and that and that. I never wanted to do it. I didn't want to do that shit. I just wanted to do radio.
But you had.
I wanted to just be the guy who turns up at 6 o'clock, does his show and goes home. But because I wasn't getting the opportunity to be that guy, I had to start the station myself, blah, 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 blah. When I look back now and I think to myself of the sacrifices of all the work that I did, blah, blah, blah. First of all, guys will talk about money. I had no money literacy till I was probably in my 30s. Money came, money went, money. It was just about holidays, cars, good times. That's all I made money today. I was broke tomorrow. I had no financial skills. So if I look back at my 20s, it was just a period of like working super hard and being miserable most of the time, to be honest. You know what I mean? And then when I got my break and I started to make money, I thought to myself, yeah, money is going to change everything. I'm going to be so happy. The most miserable period of my life is the period of my life I was making the most money. Because I realized then it's not money that was gonna create balance in life. So yeah, sacrifice. Don't be stupid. Like, end of the day, I'm not saying go out there and just have no financial literacy. But you start small. You start where you are. You know, like for example, if someone says to me, "What's the biggest financial advice I'd give somebody in the 20s?" I'd say, learn to track your expenses. That's it. That's the magic. You can see where you're spending money, and you can see where you need to cut back and where you need to. And there's a spreadsheet that I've shared with so many people over the years. Very simple. Just track your expenses. Do it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months, and see where you're leaking money. And then once you get into that culture of knowing where your money is going, you begin to save, and you begin to save. You can say, okay, you might save this month. You might save 1,000 bob. Next month you might save 1,005. Next month you might save 750. But when you begin to save and you start to see like a sizable amount, it becomes addictive.
Ooh.
And you start to feel like, like wow, like you know what? If I wanted to go today, I need tomorrow. I could go. And that gives you a sense of freedom. Money just gives you freedom and time. That's all it gives you. But in terms of like this whole thing of like fam. In the Bible, wasn't guys sacrificing their kids? The fuck you sacrificing for now, man? Enjoy your lives, guys. Enjoy your lives. Don't let nobody tell you about sacrificing this and that. Enjoy your life, spanner.
Yeah. True, man.
Real talk. Yeah, man.
Cool.
Anyway.
We need to wrap it up. But it's been amazing, man. It's been a pleasure having you here.
No worries, man. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and keep on doing what you're doing. You know, some things with podcasts is that like sometimes I know people give up because you see, like, you know, a lot of people go into podcasts and we're gonna be so much money is gonna happen tomorrow. And it doesn't work
it's super easy, man.
What will happen is you'll do one podcast that will become so popular, everybody will start going back to the stuff that you've done before. So let's keep pushing, man. Don't give up.
Yeah. Remember, you used to say, after episode 8, most podcasts usually
fail.
But now we're on 64.
64.
Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Proud of you guys, man.
The ones released.
We have.
And you guys drop every week?
Yeah. Every week.
Consistently?
For sure. Yeah.
That's the way, bro.
Yeah.
Sure, man.
And anything we can do to help push this, let us know.
Yeah.
As I break the mic again, and we'll help push.
Yeah.
Man, but it's been real, Mazeji. Money, thank you so much.
More than welcome,
Let me get that. Yeah.
No worries, my G.
Aye,
respect. Easy, bro. All too good. And big up the crew here at Trio as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right.
Also say shout out to my brother Callistus. He's gonna love that. Yeah.
Shout out to your brother.
Callistus.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
Callistus. Wait, your name's
the Kenyan Drake.
Wait. Your name's Chia.
Yeah.
And your name's Callistus. Jeez, your parents were not playing.
My half brother, man.
You know, they were like, no, let's make some names that we know are never gonna be popular. Chia, but then they had chia seeds now. So Calista.
Actually, my full name is Makachi. I just say the last part.
Huh?
Yeah.
So it's good with the G. Makachi, Calista. Yeah. Wow. I'm sorry. I have a very boring name. My name's Anthony. I apologize. Sawa, guys.
All right, man. Catch you guys next Tuesday, man. Peace out.
Easy.